We are back. Another nice Thursday afternoon. Another show. Maybe this is like the 8th time in a row where the market just completely nukes right before the show starts. But the Bulls are holding on. That's like the third or fourth retest at 59K. Migrations are continuing, staking program is growing, and builders are joining us. Lots of action in the ecosystem. This is really where the champions are made. This is when there's a few hundred people left in the market, and those teams that are going to run $2 billion have to come up with unique ways to get people into their ecosystem. And we're continuing to grind. How's everyone feeling this morning?
Bro, it's literally, we were talking about it offline before the show. It's just you grinding. This is like, Chris is out there pounding the DM grind. But you hear successful stories in crypto. There's the famous story of Pump Fun, where that dude, Alon, sent literally like, he estimates thousands of DMs to try and get people to use Pump Fun. Right. And so, look, this is the way. At the end of the day, it's the best strategy, because you're literally connecting with people people you've chatted with before. So we're grinding DM strategies, man.
Yeah, Wooden's been helping out. He's been trying to get Mark Carpella's, Mr. Carpella's on Emblem Build.
That would be a win.
Funny.
Yeah, I think we're scheduled to go on their show at some point. I set it up. From Wooden mentioned it, and then I talked with he's like their community manager, the one that heads it up, that's right under Mark, and his name's Vanguard. Cool dude. But yeah, we should be going on their show sometime over the next week or two, probably. He DM'd me yesterday and said we should be it's out this week. But nothing beats the ground game. You got to have a little bit of a ground game. I mean, I saw what kind of inspired it was we used to send a lot of DMs when I first started Emblem. We used to send DMs for everything, DMs for tomorrow's show, DMs for this, DMs for that. Kind of got away from it a little bit, but I saw some content writer. He had an old DM from the founder of Cursor, and he was like basically like, "Hey man, I'm building this new platform.
$1,000, I'll give you 5%, bro.
I'm building this platform. Obviously, this is like 2020 or whatever it is.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm building this new platform, and I think it can really be trained off of your content writing skills because you're great." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I lost out on 500 million because I didn't answer DM from the founder of Cursor." So, no matter how you cut it, the biggest companies in the world, everybody has some sort of ground game, and nobody's above a DM. So, I think we put. I don't know. Jake says 6. I don't know where he's getting those numbers from. I think there's like 30 builders that entered the Emblem Build site yesterday, just from the DM strategy. So,
we'll have to get. I'll have to get the official numbers. On Monday, we had hit 69 unique builders.
Milestones, baby.
Milestones. So if we get over 100,
that 420 is going to be sweet.
Yeah, it's about scaling it efficiently as well, right? It's funny because once the technology reaches like maturation, we start moving into the marketing and kind of discovery phase, and all three of us have decades of ground game experience. Adam was selling stakes door to door. Also, he was on the trading floor and such like that. And Chris and I worked over a decade in Vegas, right, in nightclub industry, and all that is also college as well. We were all fraternity guys in college, and all of that's sales and ground game and networking. And I think that's actually what a lot of the crypto companies, 99% of them lack, is actually that real world experience.
Totally. I mean, dude, even talking to, and you see it all the time. If you've ever talked to a foundation or a DAO, who's looking to invest or something, bro, it's just like, oh, wow. You realize some people have not had to sell a thing in their life and have no skills in that level. Like it's incredible, honestly. Because we've dealt with obviously, teams or DAOs, a lot of foundations, the founders got, I'm not going to say lucky, but they worked and built up huge, buckets of funds, but now they're not necessarily led by people who actually know how to like close anything. So yeah, it's always funny when you bump up against it. You're like, wow, this is the fucking BD team of this. Jesus Christ. Like, no wonder their fucking ecosystem's stagnant. Holy shit.
It's always like the most random group of people. You know, you always see like someone's like head of growth, and then they have like 462 followers, and you're like,
that's what I always
throw shade at anyone. It's just like, obviously those don't really they can't really coexist. Your job is to grow, but you don't have any experience growing. So that's always a good time. But you know, builders are a unique type of user because it does have a time sink. It's not a fly by the night. You can build an app in technically minutes, but it's probably not going to be the app that you want to build. It might be a blueprint for the app you might want to build. But so to have coming up on 100 users a few weeks after a soft launch when we didn't even market it because the market conditions were so bad during a soft launch, we just kind of postponed any type of real launch. Coming up on 100 actual builders live on the platform is pretty significant, and probably more than any other crypto vibe coding or crypto building platform that exists. And these are people that are all building their own creative ideas. We might sponsor some subscriptions, but we're not paying anyone to be on the platform. I had a few people reach out to me, said that they would like to be paid to build, and I was like, no, why would I do that? That's stupid. Anyone would like to actually be paid to use software for free, but anyways,
well, we might be willing to give up a portion of the company to Kaparthi if he wants to come on. that might be impossible.
No, it's the usual botted $50,000 follower account that thinks that they be paid to use a service that whatever. And just have 100 plus users first couple weeks on the platform. I think it's like extremely significant. And the thing that's missing is applications, right? This is the cold start. We're starting from 0 applications. We're going to thousands of applications, which is where we'll be. But right now it's a bit difficult. People are where we were weeks ago when we were like, what would we build? And you're like, a dashboard. You know, that's like the first thing that comes to mind for some reason, or like a bot, like, you know. But really we're trying to get a variety of creations and creators building unique builds. And I think that they're starting to come through. So a couple more weeks, there will be an abundance of different types of applications, games, and assortments of different build outs that people can go and get inspiration from. So I think we're in a fantastic spot with this product.
All it takes is one breakout, and we're building the new Emblem Vault experience to reflect that. Our dev gave us the first update of like the new experience. I guess you'd call it. I guess this would be like technically Agent Hustle V5. I guess is what it would be. Remember last was V4, so this would be V5, and it looks really good. It's really exciting. I think there's gonna be some surprises people aren't really expecting. But if you're paying attention, then obviously you kind of know what comes next after this. So we'll continue to grind. Yeah, we're in that onboarding. The last like 2 days or so, for me, it's been a little interesting because I haven't felt like this in probably since we started Migrate Fund a year ago, where I had 2 days to where it wasn't filled with Migrate Fund conversations or directing the devs to do things or going back and forth with testing and all that stuff. And obviously my account's pretty easy to follow. The more I'm tweeting just means the more time I actually have. The less I'm tweeting just means some more heads down in the trenches with people. It's really reflective of that. And yeah, it feels good because that's definitely where I'm best at, right? That's kind of how I got to this position. And I know all of us is like creating content because both products are starting to reach maturation, honestly. Like we were talking through Migrate Fund devs yesterday, and it was like, what's next? It's like there's really a few things really that you could build, but I think that needs to be by demand. And we're going to start building that way. Start being reflective. It won't be as crazy as some of these protocols that charge $10, $20, $100,000 for an integration, but which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's an exciting time because we're going to have everyone just build apps, and it's a very large market, especially on Solana. You think agents on Base are a big market? Apps on Solana is significantly bigger. I don't even think it's anything close to what it can be. Speaking of base, I did see base's dad has been down for an hour.
Yeah.
Good old
Fun.
base.
Jesse put out the funds or Safu post. I was like, oh geez, man. Here we go. Tell the fucking Brian to reset the computer, man. Jesus.
Put the memory card back in, dude.
Memory card back in, man.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to continue to build staking program. I'm going to have a turn on the marketing for that next week. So people will see a lot of updates there as we grab all of our partners and get everything formalized and ready to go. July will be a gigantic month, maybe the biggest month ever in terms of what the community's been asking for. How the market will reflect that, who knows? I mean, we put a staking announcement out. There was literally not a single purchase afterwards. So,
bro, DED dead. It's
dead.
so funny, man. Yeah. It's so interesting though, because as we were on our team call, I don't know, yesterday or whatever, and we're like, okay, well, the devs who are working on Migrate Fund, are basically coming to the end of building it out. And what are we going to do next? And I'm just like, oh my God, this is the most incredible opportunity right now, because I literally have like 4 apps that I want to build that could be like substantially awesome. Like they could be winners in the way they like Migrate Fund's a winner. Right. And it's just, obviously I'm too dumb to fucking make it really happen, but these guys could definitely make it happen. Right. And so it's just, you start thinking about this. The simplest one, which obviously people have now tweeted about and stuff, is like a market maker, an automated market maker that any team can basically hook into. Like that 100% can be built now by us if we wanted to. If we wanted to put it out there and really put it out there and really make it public, bro, that just every meme coin would use it. Right. And if we could create some really unique incentives around it, or have the ability, like a big one is where it's not necessarily controlled by the team, but individual participants can send in tokens and then get those tokens back out kind of as needed or as they want. Like these sort of mechanisms, which we're in a real unique position to build out, like that could be a huge fucking product. Not only on Solana, but everywhere. Right. And so like stuff like that, I'm just like excited, man. We can totally build that and just literally build our next Migrate Fund and our next and our next. And suddenly we have like 4 fucking killer apps out here. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
One of the meme coin devs that we helped migrate built a market maker using Emblem Build and said that he made $3,000 already. Yep. Trading on one of the centralized exchanges with it, and that he's going to sell the service for like 10 grand a month or something like that. Right. I was like, damn, right? Obviously he has a little bit of experience building and such, but like there's all kinds of different opportunities with these apps, whether it's, revenue generating, getting users, tokenizing it, the chain that you're on, different types of features. Right? There's all kinds of different ideas that we can't even conceive, and we're going to continue to just push out ideas. Get that Emblem hub completely filled is the goal.
Yeah. So, I mean, Adam kind of touched on it, but the future of the company seems to be not like an incubator, but just a platform where other people can build on, and ourselves included within those people that can build on it. So, Shannon and, the founder of our company and our devs, obviously they've been pushing out high performant, really unique, innovative apps that we've all come up with, but we all have 1,000 ideas. So now Jake's in the trenches, Adam's in the trenches, I'm in the trenches, and then our community is in the trenches. And whether it's our applications that continue to take off, which, obviously there will be flywheels back to the Emblem token for a lot of them and things of that nature that are pretty interesting. So people can kind of wrap their head around how Emblem could be used in the applications that we build, and then where other people can build their applications, right? And how that'll affect the ecosystem. So whether it's us that builds the breakout apps of the platform, or if it's our community or people that are just, learning about the platform, the chances of a breakout application or multiple breakout applications from the Emblem build platform are extremely high. Like we've already had breakout apps. We have experience doing this. That's what our company is all about. And it's only kind of accelerated with the new tooling that's available.
Let's get after it, guys. We'll continue to grow, continue to have fun. And that's more importantly, and take on whatever is next from here on out. So everyone who's listening and watching should be building, boost the numbers, right? That's what everyone wants. High numbers, and eventually it all piles. As we know, when it comes to bear markets, technical innovation always outpaces speculation of price. And then at some point that flips where the speculation will start outpacing the development progress. And that's what you call a bull market. When that begins, who really knows? The Bitcoin now it feels like mass hysteria at this point. Like everyone's calling for Saylor. Like everyone's called for Saylor to be dead. Everyone, like I'm seeing very large prominent voices basically saying that Saylor's dead. He's going to get liquidated. I just don't personally. I don't think so. I do think the bottom is still in. I saw a account I've been following since 2017 calling for $25,000 Bitcoin.
Possible, man.
I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever get that low.
Oh,
I mean, I'll never say it's impossible. I was looking at like some of the last numbers of Bitcoin's depth of the bear market, of its sell-off. The first one was like 93%, and then it went down to like 85%, and then it went down to like 79%, and then last bear market got down to 72% drawdown. Right now it's at like 56 or 57. So you're saying maybe like if you go into the 65%, what's 65% of 125K is like, I don't know, maybe like 50, 45 or something like that. 25 would be crazy. That'd be like, I think crypto might be dead at that point, literally.
Well, I mean, this is the only thing difference here is that, okay, well, last cycle is what, FTX, right? But that was like an event that took place over like a weekend, right? This is like the Saylor thing is like this like slow bleed that could take like years. It's like this overhang, which, you know, there's obviously a large part of people that think like, oh, he's going to zero. It's just a question of how long this thing is going to take to unwind. And it would obviously not happen. It would take years to unwind. And if that unwinds, I mean, look, there are people I follow. It's so funny, like Pio and Nick, right? They're the great, because it's like Nick's like, this is the biggest scam on earth. Pio's like, this is the greatest investment on earth, right? And they work together. Like,
I think they do that purposely.
Yeah, of course, right? But it creates this like super nice dynamic, right? But it's like, I mean, one of them's probably right, and so yeah, my gut says Nick's right. You know, I think this thing is gonna crash, and I do think this is like they're gonna take him out. Like by they, I mean big money will just like send this thing lower and lower and lower.
I just don't see it, honestly.
I know, and there are a lot of people who don't see it, but it could happen. It certainly could happen. That could happen.
I think
18K Bitcoin, man.
I think he has a trick in his bag that no one's expecting. Like, I think this is just my own speculation, is that he knows the Bitcoin strategic reserve announcement's coming, or he has some sort of agreement with the government that he's just going to OTC Bitcoin to the government for billions of dollars. That'll never affect the price.
Oh, so you think it's like the insider cabal? You think there's like the NSA connection type of thing where this is like,
I mean, it makes, yeah,
to me, it's like chosen by the U.S. government. This is going to be, you know,
well, if you're the U.S. government, how else are you going to buy Bitcoin, right? Like you want to buy from a U.S. entity, right? You would buy from this entity that has 4.5% of the total supply, and you would not impact the price like by any means. And then you know, as the U.S. government, that when you make that announcement that you've acquired 100,000 or 200,000 Bitcoin from MicroStrategy, that the thing is just going to probably God candle $10,000-$20,000 straight up.
Wait, so are you DCAing into strategy right now?
I sold all of my Bitcoin for Solana yesterday. I'm
really?
all in on Solana. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We got him.
I just like, I was thinking about doing it like a week ago or two, but I've been watching the Solana BTC price, and I just look around the market. I just don't see anything dethroning Solana in terms of use. I think like the layer 1 blockchain trade is pretty much done at this point. It's outside of specialization. People are still using Solana, still growing. I mean, you look at like, to me, it looks like all of the Solana coins, like altcoins have bottomed. Like if you look across all of the ecosystem, if you look at like the token Sol price for a lot of these, I mean, you look at like the emblem Sol, it's literally just straight up. Like it's up like 2 or 3x. And a lot of the tokens that you look like the big ones, even you look at like Pump or you look at like Radium and Meteora, all those, like if you price those against Sol, those are all up. So like the ecosystem to me is bottomed at this point. I saw Ansem posting about that today as well, that he thinks that it was bottoming. So yeah, I finally just decided to swap everything over and go on all in on Solana. I think it's just going to happen again. I think Ethereum's still probably one cycle away from running it back up ahead of Solana. All the technical developments of moving off of EVM to Risk V, Wall Street, all that stuff I still think it's probably a year or two away from that actually happening. So in the meantime, everyone's just going to use Solana until that actually happens. And yeah, Solana does have its own kind of culture war. I think the Solana Foundation is actually somewhat bad for Solana at this point. I think there's too much favoritism. There's too much king making going on, which is pissing people off. But I don't know. I feel like memes are just going to do it again. Like to me, memes, after building Migrate Fund, seeing how the plumbing of all Solana works, I don't think Solana can ever break away from memes, honestly. Like everything is just hyper categorized. Everything is built for meme coins. It is getting a big surge for tokenized stocks and equities and stuff, which is what they've been wanting to do. They've been calling Solana like the NASDAQ on chain. And actually, I was looking at some trading volumes on Solana, and there was, I think it was like 20 or 30% of all Zcash trading is happening on Solana.
Shut up. Really?
Hype. It was like 10% of all hype trading is happening on Solana. Yeah. So it's like, to me, it seems like that thesis is just going to continue to play out. And I'm still long Ethereum. I just think it's going to take another year or two before they finally are able to figure it out and move forward. I do think Tom Lee's thesis is definitely right. To buy, I know people like shit on him for being down that much, but I don't think you can actually buy 5 or 6% of the total Ethereum supply at the low. I just don't think you're not able to raise that type of money. You have to do it at the high. That's what Saylor has to do. I think Saylor knows this as well. Like for Saylor to be able to acquire 5% of the Bitcoin network, the only thing you can do is literally buy the top because people are waiting for you to buy, right? So they're trailing your buys, or they're trying to front run your buys and your sells. So you're always going to effectively be buying the top of whatever the kind of local volatility or volume is. But I'm still pretty bullish on crypto. I still think I called this like when Bitcoin first tested 60. I thought that was the bottom. And it still, to me, seems like it is. It's bounced off of 60K like 3 times or 4 times. 60K range, I guess. Maybe you get like one deeper push to like 55K, maybe a month or two from now. But to me, it seems like it's going to hold. And I think Solana is probably going to be the biggest winner of this. And I mean, you look at like Unicorn, right? Who's one of the migrating teams. It's at like almost a $50 million market cap now. FOMO just raised a bunch of money. That's where all the traders are. When we finished the Unicorn migration at 2,000 holders, they have 20,000 holders now. And that's all from like FOMO. So to me, it's just like all the apps are still catered around meme coins and catered around Solana. So Solana's also taken the biggest hit. It's down like almost 80, from 280 down to 60. It's like 88% or 87%. Like I think the downside for Sol is quite limited comparative to whenever it bounces back. It's probably going to go straight to like 120. I think is like where that top is. So yeah, I'm all in on Solana.
Love to see it. Took him a few years, but we got a few years. I mean, I tried to get him on Solana in 2020. I like was grabbing his
Solana at $2. Jake was like, "Yeah,
we were playing Portals at Chris's house."
Yeah, it's true. And yeah. But I mean, you didn't talk about an important metric, the market cap. of Solana is only like $38 billion.
Dude, I thought that was so cheap looking at that.
For a world-changing technology that you think that a blockchain might be, and to be what we would assume to be one of the top performing or top performance blockchains in this economy, you have companies that are worth trillions of dollars, and Solana, that 38 billion seems pretty cheap for what
It's like less than Taco Bell's market cap.
Listening to like the GME, the GameStop CEO on All In the other day, and he was talking about how he sold Chewy at like 3 billion, and then they took it public and it ran to like 20 billion then like 2 years later. And that's like a dog food company that's worth as much as Solana. So I think it's worth more than 40 billion today. But yeah, I just think that the market is the market. I think whoever's controlling the market is the best that they've ever been. They're in top tier form. They are pushing everybody on the sidelines. Listen, I've been in crypto for a long time. You guys have been in crypto for a long time. Times have been way worse than this, where the industry actually might not have survived. This is nothing to us. I mean, I don't want to say it's, things are great, but there's no risk of annihilation and no existential threat to crypto and blockchain technology. This is the greatest form, the greatest like maturity that it's ever been in. And users are falling apart left and right, but as lame as it is, the technology is the best that it's probably ever been. And the regulations around it, whatever that means, are the best that it's ever been. So you won't find a bear on this side.
Hi, Verdandi. Yeah, Chris and I epically bullish. Adam's calling for the annihilation of Bitcoin and the industry.
Bitcoin 18K. I'm a buyer 18K. Hey, yeah, it's interesting. Like I exited my Bitcoin like maybe a month ago or so. I just see it. I mean, look, and who knows? We're all just guessing. I'm guessing too. And if I could have just swapped, I'm still in my Ethereum because it's like I can't get out of it. Basically, I can't sell it without the tax hit. So I'm not selling it. But we'll see. We'll see. I part of me is just there is this sailor overhang, and Jake may be right. And if that happens, 500,000 Bitcoin, right? It's like, we'll have missed that trade. But part of me believes that if the U.S. government really wanted to buy, or if somebody big really wanted to buy it, the best way to do that is like if you really wanted to get in, it's like a long term where we need to get in. Best way to do it, you liquidate, you make MicroStrategy, sell it all, go down, run that shit down to 5K, and then scoop it all, right? But who fucking knows? Honestly, I don't.
If you're the U.S. government, though, you don't want your premier companies going down.
I mean, I don't believe the U.S. government's going to be ever going to be a buyer of Bitcoin. I just think I just don't believe that's going to happen. I don't believe it's strategic.
It's a very low chance. I think just with the MicroStrategy stuff, I just think there's something happening in the background that we're not aware of yet. Some dealings. I don't think it's like shady business or stuff, but I couldn't see MicroStrategy going down. I think that'd be such a bad look on the U.S. It'd be such a hit to the U.S. becoming a crypto capital. And I think there's a lot of catalysts.
Clip it. We'll see. I mean, look, I hope it doesn't happen, but it's possible. Like, it's certainly possible.
I mean, I just don't think it works like that. Like, just to play kind of neutral party, it's just that there's no single liquidation point. There's no point where he has to flood $60 billion into the market of Bitcoin. And if there are, if he's on the rocks pretty heavy, there are big institutional size buyers that will buy it. What the discount is that it would be, I'm not sure, but he doesn't have to flood the market. And most of those Bitcoins would go OTC. They wouldn't go directly to the order books. So it's not like if Bitcoin hits 25K, he's washed out. He just has notes that he has to pay for dividends based on, but it's more of a time delay than it is a price delay. So he can still make his payments if he sells Bitcoin. It doesn't affect the Bitcoin price other than he has to sell it, but he doesn't have to sell it on the open market. So the price impact doesn't actually have to be that significant because he can OTC it. And even if he OTCs it, larger quantities for a discount, same thing. There's not too much of a price impact. So I just think that there's many ways for him to get out if he wanted to get out. I think his best quality, his best advantage is that he owns that much Bitcoin. That is hard money. That is a hard bearer asset that you can either borrow against, or you can sell on the open market, or you can sell on the OTC markets. So I think all of us would rather have Bitcoin than cash. I don't know. That's kind of why we're in this industry. That's my belief, at least. And he has the most Bitcoin. I think that puts him in the strongest position ever. Jake said it. I don't think that you can acquire that much Bitcoin no matter what you do at this point. Basically, the only way that to get it would be to take it from him. So I don't know what that means, but I think that he has the cards, to be honest. So I don't know. I wouldn't bet against that guy.
Yeah, I think he's the entertaining character. He's obviously the main character now. I don't think we've had a main character before that was not like I mean, people call him a grifter and a scammer, but he's also the longest, or at least was up until last year, the longest standing CEO of a company, of a publicly traded company. It was like ever. It was like 40 years or something. Right? I think he got moved to chairman. Yeah, there's a new CEO. It's like an Asian dude.
I knew that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 40 years or something like that he was like the actual CEO.
If there is a sailor risk, when does the sailor risk diminish? Is it at half his stack? Is it at 3/4 of his stack? Is it at 1/4 of his stack? It's probably not zero, right? So whether he has to come to some compromise and make appease the market somehow, I'm not sure what it means, but in my opinion, I think that this is all overblown, and I think that people will look back on this and say, "Oh, that was obvious," because he doesn't have a liquidation point. It's not a price liquidation. He just has to meet his dividend calls, and that's all he needs to do. He can raise cash, and obviously you've seen it in a bunch of different creative ways. I think the show goes on.
It reminds me a lot of the Tether FUD in like 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, where it was like, oh, Tether is fractionally backed. It's backed 75% rather than it being backed 100%. So depegged, right? And everyone was calling for its death. And Tether is literally one of the largest companies in the world now, right? I think Michael Saylor in strategy probably has a similar trajectory. Obviously, I don't know what the final end state is. I was listening to a few different podcasts talking about it. Is he trying to become like a Bitcoin bank? Are they trying to be like a Bitcoin backed credit union of some sort? Right? What are they actually? What's the actual end goal?
That's the move. That's the only move.
I think that's the move. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Which makes sense. But if you're trying to transition to that after being a business intelligence enterprise for 30 years, right? That's like probably a 10-year like change, right? Of going from that completely removing that industry or that business into becoming a Bitcoin bank or whatever financial product that they want to be. So there's obviously going to be road bumps. And as we know, there's no transition. Like how many times have we transitioned Emblem's brand on a small scale, right? From Emblem, then you have Emblem and Tensorium. That's like Emblem and Hustle. Then it's like Emblem Hustle plus Migrate Fund. Right now it's Emblem plus Migrate Fund. Eventually it'll probably be just Emblem at some point. So, in the history of these companies, you expand, you compress, and you just continue to do this accordion with all of your products. And MicroStrategy has done it probably a bunch of times without even realizing it. And they're probably in the biggest transition ever right now, but they're on the grand stage and he's taking big risks. And they've been doing this transition now for 6 years, right? Is that when he bought his first Bitcoins in 2020? Yep. Right. So he's been doing this for 6 years. Everyone's still not quite sure what the end state is, but he's got 5 different products. Is it 5? Right. They have Bitcoin, they have Stretch, then they have STRC, and then they have Master.
We gotta get Pio on to explain all this shit. This is when I don't know what show I was on when we were talking about this, and it was like, this is why crypto people say it's a Ponzi. I'm not saying it's a Ponzi, but when you start this financial engineering game and you start going down this like deep rabbit hole that he's built for himself, this is when, I don't know, for me, like me and a lot of people, this is where you start worrying that yes, it's built on a foundation of real, which is Bitcoin, but it starts getting Ponzi-ish, and Bitcoin can't save you if everybody sees kind of all these liabilities you have. Long term, everybody sees it because you're publicly traded, so all this stuff is public, and they see that you have all these liabilities coming up. and you are going to be basically forced to sell your Bitcoin to meet those liabilities, who's the buyers who are going to step in, and will they step in, or will they let you just bleed out? So I don't know. That's me, is like kind of like taking the other side of where it could go. I'm not saying it will, but it could go that way. And they just, big money just stands on the sideline and watch them bleed out for years. Like that could happen too.
Could, for sure. I just think that like the timing of it is like, and obviously who knows, and Adam could totally be right. Jake could totally be right. But for me, it's just like the timing mismatch isn't really there, because we're underestimating how much $1 billion is, and how much of his obligations can be met with a single billion, let alone 2 or 3 billion. If he nukes 300 billion or 3 billion into the market, what does the price go to? Like 50K maybe? I think that would be like overblown. But then how many, Bitcoin is a global economy. How many people think that 50K is a discount regardless of what happens with Saylor? Say it goes to 45K. How many people around the world think that 45K is a discount and step in there, or 40K? And so it's not like the fact that there's no instantaneous liquidation point or huge knee-jerk reaction into the order books directly from Saylor. I think that there's, what's the DCA, the daily DCA amount from around the world on Bitcoin? Probably like hundreds of millions of dollars, or maybe in the billions. I'm not exactly sure. And so it just seems that to me that there is a world that has the highest probability that those cells will just get eaten up, because they're not just a straight nuke into the order book, and it would be delayed over the course of years. And whether it's eaten up by everyday people like us, or if it's eaten up by institutions on the OTC side, I'm not sure. But there are buyers. Like, Bitcoin is a world-changing technology, and there is a price where no matter what happens with Saylor, it is a discount. Whether that's 50K or 40K or 30K, I'm not sure. But if you're a JP Morgan, or if you're a Goldman Sachs, or if you're 0.72 or one of these big funds, even if it's not a long-term hold and it's just a trade, there are those value zones where doesn't matter what happens, it's just a value buy. So
I think it's a value buy now, honestly. After I say I swapped it off for Solana. Solana's even bigger. Solana's even bigger value buy.
If you like it at 50K, you're gonna love it at 15K.
Honestly, I just look at the whole market and I'm like, so I was also the same thing with the Solana thing. I was like, Solana's 38 billion. That seems like, to me, that seems like insane for the amount of activity that it has. Honestly, looking at Bitcoin at 1 trillion right now also seems like an insane buy as well. I wish I had like a lot of capital to do that, and I'd probably go, if I had more capital, I'd probably just stick with Bitcoin at this point. But those two just seem like a screaming opportunity there. I could totally see Bitcoin. If you think about what's the next Bitcoin high, it's probably like 180K. If you just go by the simple math that's been happening, right? The last high, Bitcoin hit 20K, right? And then the next cycle, it hit 69K. So it did a 3X, right? Or 3.25X or whatever. And then it went from 69K to 125K, right? So that's a double. So if you just take half of that, right, that would be 180K. So you're saying Bitcoin 3Xs, and if you stick to the 4-year cycle, then you would say that Bitcoin would 3X from here about 180 days from today, which would be like the top of the next cycle, right? Or something like that, or 240 days or something like that for the top of the next cycle. And for a lot of people, if you could just put unlimited size on a 3X in 2 years, like that's a insane amount of opportunity. Like literally unlimited size for most of these people. You could, right? So we'll see. Obviously, there's still the Anthropic IPO that has to happen, which will probably capture a lot of interest. But it is interesting to see how crypto and fintech is actually all merging together to one. A lot of the capital flows are going back and forth. They're not completely there yet, but the institutionalization of crypto is definitely underway.
I just got my Anthropic bill this morning. I'm like, should I drop Claude? I might just drop this thing.
I canceled mine.
Yeah,
I don't want to drop him. He does too much work for me, but I mean, he's an expensive friend. He's an expensive friend of mine. But last thing for me is, this is an industry of dreamers. This is an industry of innovators, and this is an industry of gamblers and speculators. And you want Saylor to win. I want Saylor to win. I want to be Saylor. I want to be in Saylor's position. I want to recognize that Bitcoin has historically been the best performing asset over the last decade, the last 16 years. I want to accumulate as much of the world's hardest money that I possibly can. I want to be in that position. I want whoever's in that position to win. That means that I'm going to win as well. And people come to this industry for those kind of opportunities, and he's just happens to be the one that seized it. So I thought that many more sailors would come online. He was the only one that stepped up and did it. And I think that's surprising to me, because if I was in his vision, I would do the exact same thing. And I think that Tom Lee is another one. I think he's doing exactly what I would do if I had access to billions of dollars. I would claim my stake of one of the greatest and strongest networks that's ever existed. That's what I would want to do. I want Saylor to win. And then as a follow-up to that, it is extremely ironic that 18 months ago, we thought that America's 250th would be the top of the market. And now we are here with our and it could be the bottom. So we have been right and we have been wrong. But
yeah, Pico bottom.
It could be either way. The 250th is something. So it's either the top or it's near the bottom. But holy smokes, it's always, this industry will keep you guessing no matter how much you think you know.
It's all about survival. That's all it is. Just continuing to hold on to the things that you believe. I think the believe in something thesis probably coming back in some capacity. I think we'll get a lot. I think a lot of people are going to be more holders after this. I think a lot of the Zoomers are going to have that like post bear market PTSD for the first time, just like everyone else did. And after the 2017 market, where you're afraid to sell anything, or you're afraid to hold anything, I guess. Or no, the post PTSD bear market is you're afraid to, or you sell things too early, right? And you actually need to hold it. Like that's what happened to me. Remember with BRC20, I was like, damn, this is so bright. It was coming out of a bear market. And I sold after like a 10x, and I was like, damn, this is good for a bear market. And then that shit goes another like 100x afterwards. God damn it. That's the same thing happened with me with Dogecoin. I had been buying Dogecoin in 2018, literally the exact Pico bottom at 20 sats. I'd put in multiple Bitcoin into it. And that shit went up like 20x. And I was like, damn, I could quit my job and sell everything. And I did. And that shit went up another like 500x afterwards. I was like, damn, I could have been worth like tens of millions of dollars if I held that. Literally.
Wait, so just so we lock this in, the lesson is when you get into something at the Pico bottoms, to wait, and you think you have a winner, you actually have a winner. You got to ride this to.
You got to hold it for years. Yeah, like a year or two. And this is definitely like, to me, like I said, I thought last 60K attempt like a few months ago was the bottom. To me, it still seems like this is the bottom. Like this is definitely the Pico bottom, and alts are rebounding already. I mean, the best way to look at alt is look at the alt compared to its base token. So if you're on ETH, right, Pepe ETH would be like the pair, right? If you're on Solana, right, you look at like, I don't know, what's like a coin on Solana that's been around for a while, like Fartcoin Sol, right? And you look at these coins, and a lot of them have rebounded already. Like it seems like their bottom's already in, right? And obviously, like the more long tail you go within intra networks, they're always the first risk. They're the most risk, right? So they're the first to risk on. They're the first to risk off. That's like you expand that out to the macro scale. Bitcoin is always first to dump on the macro scale, but it's always the first to rebound, right? Bitcoin started selling off 2 months ago, and now it seems like the stock market's now starting to follow it, right? Like it was literally, it's always a leading indicator. So to me, it seems like alts are the floor is in for the alts already. Like I don't know how much I lower these. Alts can always go lower. Don't get me wrong, but
they can go another 90%, man.
They can, yeah.
There's always another 90% to go.
They always can, but the ones where the team stuck around and stuff, it seems like the bottom is in already. So, maybe this hangs out for a few more months, or maybe the Clarity Act stuff does happen next month. There's like a Senate hearing that's supposed to happen. And maybe the Iran war stuff actually does come to a close. That all happens within the next like 45 days or so. And as you know, markets, they always try to front run whatever they think it is, right? So it's always too extreme on both ends. That's how you have like the blow off top and blow off the bottom, right? Or trying to catch the knife at the bottom. And for me, that's why I'm just like, I'm just gonna buy and hold now. Buy and hold. We got my stack. I got some emblem and I got some soul. We're going all in. That's all. It's all. It's the bar. That's the barbell here. Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm not a perps trader. I used to trade perps when I first got into the industry, but as a builder, I'm always very skeptical of people who are building apps, and then I see them posting stuff about trading perps. That shit does not work well. I've never seen outside of maybe a few people who are building certain types of apps that are just consistently trading perps and building companies like that. That's how you end up being like Suzu and just blowing shit up, right? Although he's a hedge fund. So yeah, so we continue to grind it out, and again, I think the bottom is in, and we're going to continue. I don't know when up will happen, but bulls seem to be defending it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, and it's like in 2018 there was the joke that the Bitcoin or 6K Bitcoin was the bottom, and it was hanging around 6K for literally like 4 or 5 months. Everyone's like the bottom in, and that shit just fell out and it went to 3K. Okay. And that's when in 2018, that's when it literally felt like the industry was dead at that point. I was buying Bitcoin down there though. I was taking everything I was making at the nightclub and I was just piling that shit into Bitcoin. Literally. I know Chris was doing the same thing as well.
How are you not fucking retired on a beach right now, bro?
Well, I got hacked. I got hacked by North Korea. That's one. I lost it gambling it as well. And one thing I realized too was when I was in the NFT era, you make like 6 figures or your bankroll is 7 figures, and you're like, damn, I'm rich, but you only cash out 20-30% of that, and then you leave your job and you live off those earnings for 3 years, and that shit, you have like $200,000-$300,000 in the bank account. After 2 years, you're like, damn, where'd that shit go?
I can't tell you how many people I've met, and just even hearing code, like a guy I met last cycle, he had a few hundred Bitcoin, right? And I don't know, it was Bitcoin at, I don't know, 25K or whatever. He thought he was going to live forever. And then all of a sudden it was it went down to 3K, and it was like, holy shit, it's over. I can't even pay my rent, and then, it's tough out there, man. It's tough.
There's just so many attacks. I mean, I've been hacked, I've been phished, right? I've been rugged and all kinds of stuff, right? So you just lick the wounds, it all comes. The thing I've learned in this industry is that if you just continue to survive, the upside is always significantly larger. Like you can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, whether it's like, right, bad investment or being hacked or being rugged or the company just ends up failing or whatever. But if you just continue forward, there's so many more opportunities that pop up. And literally every day. I mean, if you had bought Venice literally 4 months ago, it was literally like $10 million, and it just ran to almost $1 billion in a few months in the middle of the bear market, right? That one thing could literally retire anybody. If you would have put literally $1,000 into it, you'd have like 100 grand, right? And so those opportunities literally exist. And I think those are only going to continue to grow. They're just everything seems to be in crypto seems to be a lot more ecosystem driven now. It's like, oh, everything on Hyperliquid, right? Or it's like, oh, perps, right? So then it's like, oh, what are the other kind of perp things, right? Or RWAs is popular, right? So it's like, oh, Pokemon cards are taking off. Oh, and tokenized stocks are taking off, right? So that's like the category, right? 2 years ago was AI. AI was like the big thing, and meme coins. So you just have to really kind of pay attention to, what the opportunity is.
Keep growing, dude.
I think there's immense opportunity with Emblem. I think I don't know where you're building every day. I think the company's in the strongest position it's been in. I think the products are the most mature that they've ever been. The community that's still there are the biggest believers they've probably ever been. And to find a floor around something like $4 million is pretty epic, right? I think all-time high was like of hustle was like 38 million, but that was very momentarily. It was very come and go. Obviously not sustainable, but I mean, if we're holding here now when Solana's down 80%, what happens when Solana's up 50% or up 200%? Obviously, Emblem's going to outperform that. So try and get around your head what you think Emblem would look like if it has a viral app built on the platform. And what about 2 viral apps and maybe 5? And what kind of revenues those can produce? What kind of stories those can produce? What kind of content can be built around that? And how many more users that's going to onboard to all of our platforms. So they're very reflexive. And then what happens when Migrate Fund gets some of the biggest tokens to migrate? And, you know, there's millions more dollars through the door that didn't exist before. And it gets many more hundreds of smaller communities through the door. So, and then you have to think of what about all of our future products that haven't even come online yet. So the ceiling for something like Emblem, absolutely bonkers. The team is extremely experienced, and we've built all of these things, viral apps. We've built revenue generating apps in the toughest market conditions. We've survived for 10 plus years, and we're not going anywhere. So
look at the Emblem chart. This is like Emblem Soul. It's up 2x in a month, right? So it hit the bottom May 13th. That was a month after the migration. 35,000 Soul, or 35,000 Emblem per Soul, and now it's 60,000, right? And so it's doing well. It's grinding, and yeah, you want to be bullish, right? Emblem Soul. So it looks good. The USD chart looks pretty rough, or not pretty rough, pretty flat, I should say. If you look at that, but we grind. Yeah, not much more market talk, just doomerism in a bear market. But we're going to continue grinding people out. If you're building, if you want to build apps, you know, reach out to us. We're giving free subscriptions. We're going to have a lot of things coming, especially next month. That should be exciting, from staking programs to build products to a few other things that haven't been released yet. So get in there. For Dondi, if you're still watching, come build with us. Wooden, you too. You need to come build some stuff as well.
Build something.
Build some shit. You could do it for free.
Once you do it, you're gonna be like, man, this is insane. It's so much fun.
I use it honestly to just talk, like, as just like an agent. Like, I cut my Cloud Code plan just because I'm not like building I built some crazy stuff, but just for like general things to help with like content and things like that. I do it straight in the Emblem build terminal now. So pretty exciting.
For sure.
So until then, everyone have a good and safe weekend, where we do the show Tuesday through Thursday. So we'll be back next Tuesday, but we'll always be grinding. If you're on Spaces, DM me. If you want a free subscription, just even just try it out. Just to try it out. Literally, it's all you got to do. It's all we ask for. Until then, everyone have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you guys soon.
Later, guys.